Can you hear me well? Is
Yes.
everything okay?
Yes. Don't worry.
Yeah,
And so you have been working as a freelance teacher for over 20 years now. And one thing that is really important to share here is that really catches my attention is that you don't use social media. So all your students come to you and you don't use any social media and you have never used any social media. It's not something that you got fed up with. No, it's something that it's not part of your business. So bye, Paula. And I think it's really good to know because there are a lot of people who wouldn't like to be working online, but they feel this pressure to be working online because it's something that everybody's doing. And you have survived, you run your house, you have a family, and you are the person responsible for all the finances in your family, and you don't have any professional Instagram account. So that's you. We have been working together. Working, no, but we have been exchanging as teachers for over 20 years. Also important to let our audience know because since you started working, Andrea is my cousin. For those who don't know, Andrea is also my cousin. She's a friend and a cousin. And when she started working freelance, I had started like a few years earlier. And then from this point onwards, we started exchanging class practices. We met and we have been meeting every week for more than 20 years. We had some breaks here and there for a child, another child. Here you have two children, I have two children. So for some moments we stopped, but we have always met to have these exchanges together. And these exchanges for me are essential in my growth, in my development as a teacher, as a motivation. All these ideas that we exchange together are extremely valuable to me, very meaningful to me. So this is Andrea, so that everyone can know her. And I really thank you for accepting my invite. You can guess how hard it is for her because she doesn't use Instagram for barely anything. So I really appreciate you coming here, accepting my invite, and being here with me today. Feel free to say something. Otherwise, I'll be speaking here nonstop. You know me, yeah?
Okay, so I am just holding to see you here. Okay, so don't worry.
Okay.
Sometimes I will be looking like anywhere,
Yes.
but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I like social media. I use for like watching videos from doctors, from some things to study and to teach. I use a platform to teach. I have been teaching online since 2012. My first student who moved to the USA, and then I started working online. But during the pandemic, we had to adjust, all of us. But as I have been a teacher for a long time, 20, almost 25 years, the word of mouth was the way that my students like spread my name. And I have never changed my cell phone number. So some people, when they look for me after like 10 years, 15 years, they send me a message and they say, do you keep teaching? I said, yes, I do. But during these 25 years, almost 25 years, the things have changed a lot, like I said. Coincidentally, before the pandemic, I was doing a Cambridge course online about platforms, and then I was studying about them. So it's something like I had to change the way, but like on Sunday, my daughter-in-law told me something very interesting. She said, if you had started these days, you would have needed to be online and to do all this job. But as my name is with my students, I don't need it. Till now, I haven't been on social media for like showing. Yeah, I just consume. That's the way I work.
And it's interesting because even if you're starting now, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the situation. If I were starting today, and if I didn't like to post anything on social media, would I be able to survive in this modern world? Because I don't know about you, but every professional that I search for, so a professional that offers services, not a product, but services, I try to see how they behave. I try to connect with the professional first. So I was thinking if it is possible to do without a professional Instagram account or TikTok or YouTube, whatever. But there are ways for people who don't feel comfortable working online and posting every now and then. These people should find a way of not suffering when they're online. Okay, so I don't want to post on social. For example, I haven't posted in a long, long time, but I love posting stories. So I post stories every day. There are people who would feel more comfortable editing videos without their faces, but they're good at editing. So they could post videos on YouTube because YouTube is more open to those high level editing videos. So other people could create a community on Telegram. I already had a community on Telegram and it worked pretty well. So you would have this contact with new people that would come to you, but not necessarily would be there showing in the social media all the time. So there are alternatives for people who don't feel comfortable. But anyway, you have to do a good job. Irrespective of your choices, you have to be a good teacher in class because word of mouth is something that will spread your name everywhere. There is no other way. You can have the best content. You can speak as beautiful as possible. If you don't do a good job with your student's not going to refer you to anyone. And there will not be new people coming to you. So if you do a good job in the classroom, even though you are beginning, if you do a good job in the classroom with your students, this is a natural tendency of ours. If we like something, we share. We tell people, yeah, so I'm looking for a teacher. Well, I have my teacher. Yeah, there is one student of yours here who's also a teacher, Thais. She said that your name is not Andrea, your name is teacher, because everyone knows you as teacher, yes? And she also said here, I'm facing this issue right now, always thinking about it. So posting, not posting, what kind of things should I do online? Because we should have at least something so that people can get in touch with us. And if we don't want to use any social media, at least a website. I was thinking about this. Okay, I don't want to post anywhere. I don't want to have any communities. I don't like that because I like teaching. So I don't like this kind of work. I like teaching. So hire someone to create a website for you, post whatever it is that you consider important about your classes, one example, I don't know, one video about one class of yours, and keep it there and invest on Google, for example. When people type your name on Google, they're going to find your website. So it's possible to use Google Business or this Google platform so that your name is going to be one of the first that shows up and with a quality website that you don't need to worry about posting or putting together posts up to social media. So there are ways of not coming to Instagram all the time, but we have to consider, at least if you are beginning, you have to consider at least one of these online aspects so that people can find you, even people who don't know you. Yes?
Mhm. Yeah. And something I see is like, I'm not against. I'm not against, like, oh, okay, I am against social. No. But it's just a way I see. For example, in my case, I work a lot. I guess every teacher works a lot. But then I don't see if it's really necessary. But for example, when I started teaching online, I started learning about the platform. So when the pandemic came, I had to start teaching groups online because I have a lot of groups. So we have to adapt, you know. And it's something interesting because when we started, I worked 7 years for school, but since the beginning for schools. But since the beginning, I have worked as a freelance as well. But when I was working, like in the beginning, I was trying to adjust ways. And something that I saw reading our book. So for people who don't know, I have already read her book. Okay, and
Privileges of a cousin.
exactly. We have been together since ever. And then, yes, I want to touch the book as well because I am an old-fashioned person. Yeah. But then, something I read and it made me think a lot. There were some ways that I had to go, I had to adjust. And you were teaching there these ways that could make my life could have been much easier, you know. But I don't mean like, okay, you don't need anything. Oh, come on. We have to appear. The things 10 years ago, not 20, but 10 years ago, they were completely different. And then nowadays, like I am not well known online and okay, but I use the tools. For example, your channel, I teach a lot using your videos. I usually tell my students when they ask me something that I know it's in one of your videos, I say, Agnes' video is coming to my mind. You know, and they start, oh my God, new homework. But then it's a way, you know, we have to find ways to work better and better.
And we have to adapt the way I used to teach when I started. I started teaching 30 years ago, but I have been a freelance teacher for 20. And the way I teach has changed immensely over the years. So before, when I started working freelance, I used to use course books. So I used to invest a lot of money in course books. And in the past few years, I learned, so we keep on studying. That's one way for us to be better teachers in the classroom for our students, so that our students can recommend us. Yeah, so we are always learning. We together, we have been taking lots of courses together, and we learn different ways of teaching, different ways of dealing with our students, and these ways have helped us understand how to adapt better to the modern world. Okay, so there are different strategies to be used in the classroom. There are different strategies to use with this particular kind of student. Okay, so let's adjust it. And I haven't used course books in a long time because I learned different ways of doing that. So we are always adjusting, we are always adapting to the new realities that we run into during our lives. But not only that, in the classroom, in the methodologies that we use, in the techniques that we use with our students. So it's part and parcel of our progress. So we are always learning, and we like this lifelong learning feeling that we are always including new things. And that's why this exchange that we have every week is so important. I love, because we usually meet on Thursday. We have met every Thursday for years now. Yes, so my Thursday students always have new things. So I have new ideas on Thursdays, because new app, a new way, a new technique that we applied in the classroom. Okay, it worked really well, so I'm gonna apply with my students. So these exchanges are very important, and I believe these exchanges help to keep our sanity, our mental health, because when we work by ourselves, it's very easy to start having the imposter syndrome and questioning. When a student cancels, we go like, oh my God, am I doing a good job? Am I good enough? And then these exchanges help us understand our worth, our value, because we understand that it's just one detail of our business. When a student cancels, when someone leaves, and this helps a lot to keep a good mental health quality, let's say. Before you answer, let me read just something here. Thais said, I started 9 years ago. I agree that things were completely different, and she mentioned something else. I totally agree that we are always adjusting and improving. Yeah, it's part of being teachers, it's part of being alive nowadays. If we don't adjust, we are left behind. Yes? So, Andrea, please.
Okay. It's so weird to hear you calling me Andrea. My nickname is Nina for you.
Yes,
A
it's
lot of
true.
names, teacher, etc. So something that since the beginning, I guess every freelance has this feeling. But I remember some years ago when I started just working as a freelance, a friend of mine told me, Welcome to the slave life, she said, because this is a fake and it's not a real freedom. And it's true in many cases because it's true the way we work. Because we start like, I can't miss this, I can lose this student. It's like the student asks you. I used to teach like 6:30 in the morning because the student needed. I used to teach until 10:30 p.m. I used to teach on Saturdays since 7:30 to 5 p.m. with 30 minutes of lunch. And so, why? Because I did that with myself. And my husband used to say like, look, when a student goes, two students come. You have to keep this in mind. But then internally, I didn't believe. And then after a while, I started seeing that like it's true, and I have to understand that. And nowadays, the people who work in their in companies, they also have the same problem. They can't stop working. So it's not only a freelance problem. We because of cell phones and technology, we are like slaves. So the people in general, like your boss calls you at midnight, you answer. So the worst case that happened, a student of mine, for example, he was in hospital and the doctor told him, look, you need a surgery. He said, no, but I will need to be back to work and then I will finish what I'm doing and then I will do the surgery. And the doctor said, look, you have to be alive to work. So this is something that I'll never forget. So it's not only freelance, but we have to start learning what the moments you have for work, and you have to have a schedule for yourself. And then like, let me see, I have a schedule like these. For example, nowadays I have one morning that I don't work. What I do, I sleep and I exercise. And then this is like, nobody, if someone asks me this day, I'll say, no, I can't for anyone because I also deserve. But it took me years to understand that because when my kids were born, my two kids, after 1 month, I was already working. And then this is a problem we have when we do, no, not the only the freelance. I would say that when we have to schedule the things when we are freelance, but no, nowadays it's a problem that we have. And then I learned how to deal with that. And my students know because I usually teach them. You have to stop for breathing, really, breathing, meditation. Don't take the cell phone to the bathroom. I learned this some time ago and I thought, man, yes, there is a bathroom without a cell phone.
There is
I
an
learned
elevator
that.
without a
Yeah,
cell
there's
phone.
exactly. And so, but it's hard. It's hard. And most of us, it's not, okay, we're talking about freelance, but most of us, we have had problems because we are fed up. Sometimes your body stops you. And there's something I loved from your book. I even took notes because I'm using my cell phone. And I would like to borrow some words from your book. And if I had known that some years ago, I would have been doing phrases to help you deal with self-doubt. Can I? Can I
Yeah, sure.
mention some?
Sure, yes, of course.
So this is amazing, and I put this. I took a picture, and every now and then I take a look at this. New people will come. They will. You have to believe in yourself. Not everyone will drop out this very moment. It's not like, okay, because in December, for example, when people have their vacation, 13th salary, and you are desperate because the people are leaving. So not everyone will drop out at this very moment. And I'll be able to pay my bills. Even if I struggle for a while, I will. I have always been. Why it will happen now? And we have had a lot of things, pandemic and crisis, world crisis during these more than 20 years. I will not panic because I will not run out of students altogether forever. So, and I am good. My students know it, and so do I. And I loved when I saw these sentences. I took a picture and I thought, man, it's absolutely true. We have to understand that. And if you understand, no matter being a teacher or anything, any profession. You have to believe that. Otherwise, you will be a slave. And it's not a slave because the people are bad, they are mean. No, because you are a terrible boss to yourself. So this is something I have learned. I have been learning. It's a process, living and learning. But this is something that I put in my mind because if I don't put myself as someone important for my life, I won't be a good teacher because I will be devastated. So I'll be teaching like giving my all my energy, but the energy, kind of energy that I don't have if I don't adjust myself, if I don't breathe, if I don't exercise, stretch, and etc. You know.
True. And how do you deal with these ups and downs? Because students come, as you said, your husband tells you, oh, one student drops out, two will come. But how do you deal with this emotionally? And do you have a financial plan for this as well? Because we have ups and downs. There are moments that we have a lot of students and we have no schedule to serve everyone, and people keep coming and we have no schedule and go like, okay. And then suddenly lots of people leave and then nobody comes. And then you spend 1 month, 2 months there. Do you have a financial plan to deal with that and also an emotional behavior to deal with these ups and downs?
A financial plan, it's something that I have always nowadays it's super hard because the after pandemic, I guess money is something which is harder and harder because we spend every day more with the bills. But I have always worked for saving money for December and January. Thank God I have never had the problem like a lot of students leaving others without coming. I have students who wait for me to have the classes because after teaching for a while, it happens. But emotionally, it's something that I am an anxious person, naturally anxious. I'm anxious about everything, the next class, the meeting tomorrow, something, you know, if I have to take my dogs for a walk, I get anxious when it's the moment to go. So this is me. I accepted it. But I have been doing self-development courses to deal with this anxiety. And I have to put this in my mind. So like they will go. I have this money saved for January, for December. I have always saved this because there are lots of bills in January, and I will keep doing my best. So the students will come. And every day, I breathe, stretch, like I take little by little moments to relax a little, to be less anxious, and even therapy, you know, and putting like some time to stop thinking about these kind of things. So in the past, for example, I used to work hard at every moment. So when I was not worried about work, I was working. And nowadays I try, for example, when I go to sleep and I start thinking and worrying, I start like thinking about other things and I say, no, it's not the moment to worry. And then this is a way that I found. It's not easy, but I still believe that if you are as a teacher, if you are freelance, you can make more money. You can do the things on the way you would like to do because when you work for a school, you have to follow a plan, and this is sometimes very difficult because it's not the way you would like to work, you know. So I still think that these ups and downs, the biggest problem is in your mind, not the
Mhm.
ups and downs. Because and downs, the students will come. They will because
Mhm.
everybody needs English. And the problem is that the people think that they can have it like in 6 months. But everybody does. The companies, they are valuing every time more. So they will come. If you have your name there, if they know you, if they like your job, they will recommend you and the things will work. We have to trust,
Yeah.
you know, trust God and in yourself because you have been doing a good job. So this is the way I deal. It's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but it's fun.
And it's good because you save part of your salary for the months that you know things are not going to be so easy. And this is essential even for like I want to be a freelance teacher from today. Okay, so start saving today. So I want to go freelance now, and I have zero to live. So how are you gonna survive if you don't have enough students? So do things slowly. So if you decide to go freelance now, keep on working just a little longer. Just I recommend at least 6 months salary. Yeah, so save the money you receive from the first students, save it all. Keep on working for the institution for a while and save it all, because in the beginning you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with this feeling of uncertainty, because when you work for a school, you know that at least for a semester you're kind of safe. We are never 100% safe, but you're kind of safe for a semester. So think about this as your freelance job. Yeah, so I work freelance, so I need to have this certainty for 6 months. If lots of people come to you fast, excellent, but it's not so easy when you start working freelance, because people, mainly because when you start working freelance, you're gonna contact people for the first time. They're gonna be your family members, your friends, people who you know already, but it's the first time you're working freelance. And for some reason, I have realized that people who know us are not the first one who hire us. You have one or two friends who can, a lot of people recommend us. I don't know if you have been, if you have gone through the same, but a lot of people recommend me. My family members recommend me, my friends recommend me, but very few of them hire me as a teacher. I don't know if they, I put this in the book. Yeah, I have the sensation that they are afraid of messing up the relationship, because if we start working together, it stops being a friendship and becomes a business. So I think people are afraid of that, but they trust us because they recommend us to lots of people. So the first people you're going to contact are not going to be the ones, probably, because it's always an uncertainty, but probably are not going to be the ones who are going to sign up with us. So you have to be patient, to wait for the moment when people start coming to us. So if you have your finances for the first few months guaranteed there, you're not gonna be panicking, because no, because you have to pay your bills. Unless you live in a with your parents and you don't have to pay a penny, or you have a situation that you don't have to worry about money. But most people, this is not the reality for most people. Most people have a lot of bills to pay, and this start killing us when you don't have enough money to pay. So keep something saved, so that when you don't have a lot of money, when you don't have a lot of students, you don't worry, because you know there is time. And when you work for school, you have the certainty of 6 months. So have the certainty of 6 months in terms of salary when you're working for yourself. If you have the certainty of a year, it's even better. Yeah, this is my goal, to have the salary. Today I have a 6 month forecast, but I am working towards 1 year, because if I struggle for more than 6 months, I'm still safe and I'm still mental free. Okay, there are no students coming. Oh, okay, I still have 6 months. So I save one or two students' payment every month, so that I can have enough funds for the moments that we don't have so many students coming. You know? Yeah.
You know something? When I started my business, because my CNPJ, I saw there. I started doing some courses at Senac. I don't remember Senac, and I saw that 50% of the companies which start, they will bankrupt, they will close or bankrupt in less than a year. Why? Because there is no plan.
Yeah.
We have to plan. Yeah, we have to plan before doing the things, and this is something, and that's why I liked your book so much. When I read your book, and you thought that it was like, no, it's because she likes me. No, I was enjoying, and as a professional, I saw that it's something like, for example, I have lots of students who became teachers. I taught them, and my two nieces, for example, they are teachers. And what I did, I used to teach them like some techniques, some ways, the path that I have been. And with your book, even having my experience, like I learned a lot, I took notes, I highlighted some things, but then this is something that I would highly recommend someone like start. So have someone to support you. It's our case, yes, exchanging ideas and these kind of things, and have a plan, set up a plan. And in this case, for example, your from your book, you have it all, your experience there, and then like a plan to salary, a plan to dealing with sickness or any or few students, because sickness is something, and if you have got like COVID time, yeah, so it was like nowadays dengue, the person needs to stay like 15 days without working. It's impossible. So how do you deal with that? You have to have a plan. And I could see that in your book, the plans are very well defined because it's something that you lived, and then you put your experience there. And then, of course, I learned because your experience is different from mine, yeah?
Yeah, and all these exchanges, that's why it's so important. So working freelance uh, doesn't mean feeling lonely. Because if you don't have anyone to share, anyone to exchange, you end up feeling lonely. And if you don't have these exchanges, you don't progress as much as you could if you had someone to share. So if you have no one, if you have, like, we are cousins, we have this blessing because we are friends and cousins at the same time. So we are blessed. But if people don't have that, they can create this connection. They can start creating connections with new people by participating in courses, going to conferences, taking courses. There are always ways of meeting new people. And there are people we connect more easily because there are people we connect more easily, and there are some people that we just have them as colleagues. But there will always be people, even online. Yeah, I'm not taking any courses, but I'm not going to any conferences. Okay, but follow teachers too. Some people are afraid of following other teachers because they are afraid they might feel that they are not good enough because they would be comparing themselves with these teachers they follow. So try to follow teachers and try to talk to teachers as if they were partners, not competitors. And this perception of the other, like, we can't serve everyone. We can't. So I have a limited number of spots in my schedule that I can serve people. So the teachers working online do the same, and they have the same limited number of spots. So we can't serve everyone. So the other teacher on the other side can be a partner and not a competitor. So you start creating these connections and not only asking, create this habit. I saw this other day, one teacher posted here, like, make the habit of reaching out to people without asking anything, without needing them. This is a good way to start because, we'll reach out to them because I need that. No, reach out to people only because you care, only because you have nothing in return, just nothing in return. I mean, this relationship. And some people don't have the habit because we live in this world nowadays that we need to uh, we need to profit. We need to profit. And not necessarily it's true when we are talking about teachers. Yes, there is a question here. Oh, yes. Yasmin said, where is the book going to be? She put here a question. Where is the book going to be launched? I'm going to talk about this in a minute, yeah? But this is so important. Even if you don't take courses or if you don't participate in these communities, at least follow teachers who you respect, follow teachers who you can have these exchanges and start creating these connections. Because when you comment on a post, they will come back to you, they will comment. And before you realize, people who have the same way of dealing with classroom activities, difficulties, struggles, before you realize, you start creating this connection. The pandemic has been very fruitful to me because before the pandemic, I worked face to face. I didn't teach online. And this pandemic brought this new world to me and this connection with so many teachers. I feel so blessed for having that. And this gives us the strength to move on when life is not so easy, when we feel a little lost. when we have a difficult student or a difficult class, or you don't know what to do. So it's good to have these connections that will help you along your path. Yes. Uh,
Yes, and also, and I'm sorry, and also something I feel is like I usually tell my kids this and also my students, if you are competent, you don't have competitors. This is the point. Like we can share. Sharing is like the more you share, the more you get. So if
Absolutely.
you expose yourself, like you watch a teacher and you write a comment and you talk to this person, okay, we'll make mistakes, we're just human beings, we're not perfect because this is something very hard. The technology brought it like, oh my god, we must be perfect because this is all fake. So be yourself, share that you have it back. And teachers have these habits like of being afraid of the others. Like, no, we're not competitors. There's room for everybody, for sure.
I agree. I agree. Thank you. And as for the launch is next week. So the ebook is already available for pre-order on Amazon. And Yasmin asked, yeah, it's available for pre-order. And people who buy the ebook during the pre-sales, they're gonna be able to participate in a master class about how to say no to students, how to say no to clients in general. And this is one excellent motivation to buy the book. You buy the book, you get a master class. So if you buy the ebook, so this gift will be available until the launch date, which is next week. June 29th. And for the ones who want to buy the paperback, yeah, the print version, it's going to be available on the launch date, which is June 29th. And if people want to participate in the masterclass, but they don't want the ebook, they want the print copy, they have 5 days to buy it, because after this, they will not be able to participate in the masterclass. Tell me if I answered your question, but that's it. Nina, no, Andrea.
Andrea, teacher, mommy.
Yeah, everyone. Thank you for joining this live. Thank you for the people who came here to talk to us. And thank you for participating here with me, for sharing your thoughts. I'm really happy to know that you took a photo of one part of my book and you kept it somewhere near your workplace. So that makes me really happy, made my day, actually. Okay. I
You
wrote this book with a purpose, that is to help at least one person. That was my goal. If I can help one person, I will be happy. So it's good to know that at least I could help. So I'm happy. Yes. And thank you. Would you like to say something for us to finalize?
yes, I would. This book surprised me because I see that like I could learn. We can always learn. And I said to one of my former students who is already a teacher, Thais Tata, I told her that I would give her the book. She is old-fashioned like me, so she wants the physical book. And I will recommend this book to everyone who is starting just because of that. I know that it's like if it helped me, I am sure that for a beginner it will be even better. And it's something that like you can learn and you can avoid making the mistakes we have already made. So this is like as if you were experienced. And I am super happy to know that I have had this opportunity. Yes, and being with you, it's always a pleasure, Gui.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Andrea. Wish you a lovely afternoon. Thank you all who joined. And take care. See you guys. Thank you.